before we go.
All right. Hello, everybody. Sorry that we're late for the live stream. We had some technical difficulties. That was uh, that was fun. So we're trying to do a little bit more with YouTube and learn more about how they handle the events and everything else. So while we did a rehearsal yesterday, there's just a couple of guest kinks that you have to work on when you're going live. A little bit of a double authentication. So again, very sorry about the delay, but I'm excited to be here to be able to start answering your guys' questions. So the last live stream that we did was um, was very well received. So basically, what we did was we just wanted to get your questions that you had around marketing or sales and leverage all of our experience to be able to answer those. So basically, every question that I'm answering here or all these presentations that we do on a monthly basis are basically coming from our community. And we just kind of give away all of our behind the scenes secrets, internal processes, all that kind of stuff to give you guys the answers that you're looking for. Okay? So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into the presentation since we're already a little bit late, and we'll get after it. All right. So the question that was most demand this month, we got a lot of questions, but this was, I guess, the most common is how to ensure that you get ROI from marketing. And my goodness, that's kind of like a loaded question. How do you how to ensure there's no guarantees in life? But no, there's several different ways that you guys can make sure that you're going to get a positive outcome from your marketing. So those kind of checks and balances and those best practices are things we're going to go over. So here's the agenda. What we're going to do. I'm going to give you a quick overview of the live stream protocol. Again, this is a new system. We're on YouTube. You guys are watching it there, so I want to make sure that you guys know how to engage and comment and do all that kind of stuff. We're going to get a more of an understanding about for one type of ROI, the codependency on sales. I think that's important. How to build a budget for ROI. I think budgeting is important to make sure that you give yourself the best shot of getting the ROI you're looking for. How to choose the right strategy that'll most align with ROI. When you can't do it all, you got to focus on priorities. KPIs you should monitor to make sure that you're on the right track. Some free resources. This is a popular part of our last stream. Is we give away a lot of free resources, a lot of tools so that you guys can take the information from this live stream and then use it within your business to go ahead and start applying some of the info. And then we're going to get some more questions from our viewers. All right. So real quick on the live stream protocol, we're on YouTube. So if you want more content like this and you're looking to be messaged proactively about other techniques and other types of things that we can teach you, please subscribe to our channel and then hit the notification bell, and then you'll be notified when we're doing new live streams and what those topics are about. And then at the end, depending on your value you're getting out of the stream, please like or dislike or let us know in the comments what your feedback is or what your questions are so that we can answer those during the Q&A portion of the presentation, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. So how are you calculating the ROI? I think that's the first thing. If you want to ensure how to get ROI, you got to understand how to calculate it and what you're actually calculating. So starting with, obviously, the number one way, or the 90%, 99% of MSPs calculate ROI by, are they generating enough qualified leads and are those leads closing? Okay, kind of simple. It's based off sales. And that's fine. That's kind of straightforward. The other one is improving the customer experience to drive higher retention. So just remember that the overall responsibility of anyone in charge of your marketing is to communicate the owners or owners' vision and philosophies to past, present, and future clients, right? So all the people that you're engaging with in your community, that should be what they're doing. And while leads is very important in some cases on the front end, you also have clients that you may want to be able to communicate proactively all the different things you're doing, updates to your infrastructure, updates to their service agreements, best practices and lessons if they're teaching them or driving education around security. If you're communicating with them about certain phases of their project or when they should be renewing. All those types of things not only create a better customer experience, but they drive customer retention. And if you can extend the retention of your current clients a lot longer, you can drive ROI that way. Increasing efficiency in communication workflows. That's another big piece. We kind of talked about that, right? So a lot of times you go through a project phase, especially when onboarding a new managed services customer, and there's a lot of different steps, right? From if there's a hardware update, that's kind of big. If you're migrating them from on-premise Exchange to Office 365, there's more communication that goes through there. If you're going to be installing certain agents on the machines, if you're educating them on how to request support, there's so many different things that you can do in the communication process. So if you have a well-documented onboarding process, you can have marketing step in with either videos or great email content or great content that can be sent through every user in the organization, informing them of everything that's going on. And that creates a better experience for your clients. It keeps them less in the dark, and it adds more value to why they chose to work with you in the first place. I think they're going to be more excited about that. So that's another thing you can do to increase ROI there. Driving higher adoption of the solutions that you engage. I think this is a big part. You know, a lot of you folks sell, like I said, you're selling Office 365, you're selling voice over IP, you're selling backup and disaster recovery, you're selling so many of, you're selling all these different solutions, and clients typically only leverage about 20% of those solutions. You know what I mean? And that is obviously, you know, if they're not fully leveraging the value, they're never going to adopt it 100%. But if they're not using enough of the technology that you're implementing, the perception of value goes down onto the impact of the organization. So you can do a lot of marketing for, you know, solution adoption and training to really let them know how to leverage the technology solutions that are available to them. For instance, again, Office 365 being an easy choice, are you educating them on how to leverage Teams and how to leverage the mobile apps and the web applications and all those different things, right? OneDrive, are you teaching them how to access their files remotely? On VoIP, are you teaching them how to do call hopping and all those different features that are available with those technologies? So again, the more educated, the more empowered the user is, and you can do that with the marketing person, helping them understand that, you'll be able to drive a lot more adoption, which will lead to a higher perception of the value that you're giving them. And then those leads to upsell opportunities and happier clients, more referrals, all those wonderful things that go along with it. And lastly is improving internal communication and training. I think that you got to market to your staff. You got to have ways to constantly promote the vision within your organization and train them on how to do their job better. And marketing oftentimes creates a lot of that documentation and creates a lot of those materials so that, you know, videos, documentation, presentations, PowerPoints, all kinds of different things that you can do to onboard and train your employees a little bit better. You know what I mean? And how that all works. So all this is essentially again, this is communicating not only your vision, but it's also communicating your philosophies, it's communicating your process, and that is what marketing is. So a lot of different ways we can drive ROI here. But I'm going to focus on the big one that you guys, I can read between the lines, okay? I know what you're wanting to hear. How do you get qualified leads to close? Okay, so let's jump into that piece right there. So just so you know, for that example, there is a codependency on sales, all right? Basically, no matter how good your marketing is or how many leads we generate, can't close the deal for you, okay? This is not e-commerce. We're not marketing for Amazon. No one's going to be able to just check out online to buy your services. They're going to have to talk to somebody. That they have to have a great experience with that person, and that person's going to have to go through, overcome objections, and do all the different things they need to do to close an opportunity, right? The best thing that marketing can do is get you in front of a qualified opportunity and get them into the appointment. And from that point on, it's the salesperson's job to close. Now, the other thing too is depending on that, you guys have to understand that the further along you want marketing to move that sales through the engagement. For instance, if you want them to only count the people going straight to appointment, your cost for marketing is going to increase because there's a lot more that goes involved to getting them from the point of interest towards doing all the follow-up automatically or doing all the things automatically to get you to the appointment. So that kind of automation costs things. You're gonna have to invest more into various different vehicles, or invest a lot more into more touches and more things to get that lead to come along, right? Um, the other thing is sales follow-up. You guys are in the response time business. That's what you're selling, right? Proactive response time, proactive IT support. So remember, when they're engaging with you or making a decision that they want to work with you, they're going to say, okay, well, I just want to make sure that the person I'm working with responds to me, in a timely fashion, that you guys are quick and take care of my problems fast. So that perception starts from the moment they express interest in your solution, how quickly they're getting a response from your sales team. If your sales team has a very poor response time and not following up with leads and letting leads go cold and doing all those things, what do you think the perception of your response time for support is going to be? They're going to be like, well, if these guys won't even call me to evaluate me to see if they can win my business, they're definitely not going to respond quick if I have support issues. So again, no follow-up activities, no diligent follow-up, no attention to that, you're going to have a really low closing ratio and have a hard time separating yourself from your competitors when it comes down to the pricing engagement. Lastly, is marketing leads are not referrals. Okay, you can market for more referrals and you can do that, but in the set where you're going after net new prospects or new logos, you're going to have to not only win their relationship, they're going to have to find credibility in the content that you're sending out and value in the content that you're setting out, no matter where they're getting it from, in order for them to explore your website. Once they get there, they have to build some sort of credibility and think that your firm is credible and can handle their problems. A lot of times too is when they start to evaluate things, a lot of the needs that they have may not all be active needs. Yes, someone that's server's on fire, or someone that has a really bad experience with they're super PO'd at their current provider, that person is going to their active need is going to be a lot higher. But most people that are going in to really just learn more about technology and learn if they need to make an update, those are more latent needs, or kind of needs that are buried. It's up to the job of the sales professional of marketing to uncover those latent needs, and up to the job of the sales professional to make that latent need an active need. So if you start doing those, right, if you start to do that and you do it appropriately, then you're going to start winning more sales. But it takes skill to do that. It takes skill to talk to somebody, understand their business pain points, tie down some of those issues with what you guys have, and then make that move along. So those are all extremely important things that you're doing. Now, along the way, marketing can provide sales professionals with materials to help speed up the velocity of the sale. So the more they can have case studies and FAQs and all these materials that you can leverage to help them overcome objections sooner, the sales will move a lot faster and you'll close a lot faster and get ROI a lot faster. But nonetheless, if there's a codependency there, so sales and marketing got to be very in sync and work as a team in order to get the ROI you're looking for. Budgeting for ROI. So let's go into that example. And by the way, guys, I'm going to drop out of this PowerPoint at times. So now is a time where if you're kind of just listening in and doing things, to kind of just pay attention to the screen, because I'm going to leverage some of our resources to make the presentation a little bit more interactive. But real quick on this last slide, a couple points. How to budget, I can give you some average numbers. These numbers that I'm presenting you now is from serviceleadership.com, Paul Dipple. So if you look at that, you're saying, okay, budgeting for ROI. MSPs that achieve ROI are actually budgeting 3 to 5% of their annual gross revenue. That is what they're spending on marketing. And we're going to talk about how that's being spent in a minute. Best in class do about 10% of their annual gross revenue, but those folks already have a formula that's generating ROI, so they keep investing more. It's kind of like the old saying, there's infinite budget for things that generate ROI. And those folks are generating ROI, so they're investing a lot more money. Set a budget you can withstand long-term. I think that's really important because everybody knows marketing is a long-term thing. You can't start marketing and be an overnight sensation. Happens sometimes, but not often. And meaningful results are always going to take time. You're going to have to look at the data, make adjustments, and make sure that you can work it. So try to, at first, when you're setting your budgets, making sure that however it breaks out is something that you can absorb long-term, okay, to make that work. The more content you create, the more intellectual property you have, the more arsenal you have to make leads come in through the door, and at the same time, the more resources you've armed your sales professionals with to close sales a lot faster, okay? So, but let's keep it simple. An exercise we're going to walk you through is just to make sure how do we create enough budget to get you to generate 4 sales a year. I think that one of the things that's kind of understated is that if you just look at a 5K or $7,500 budget, which is anywhere from $60 to $100,000 roughly a month, then I'm sorry, a year that you're investing in overall marketing, you don't need a lot of sales to make it work. If your average deal is $2,500, you really need 4 sales to get the ROI. And that's kind of like a good low benchmark to look at, and then you can start leveraging that to see if you're getting there. Cool. How do I do more of that, or how do I improve and tweak the process to make, 4 sales a month, 10 sales a month, 4 sales a year, 10 sales a year, or 20 sales a year, all those type of things. So just something to keep in the back of your mind. But we're just going to focus right now on getting what do we need to do to get 4 sales a year, right? Get you some ROI. So when you start to get your budget in line, one of the things that you can do, give me a second, I'm just going to get out of there, and we're going to jump into this document right here. So this is one of the resources that is available for you as part of the download portion later. I've provided you access to the budget calculator that we use for our clients. But again, you're going to start picking the strategy, and we'll talk about the different strategies in a minute. But here, you'll be able to look at different types of marketing vehicles that exist and how much you're actually spending. What people don't understand is that aside from whatever you pay in payroll to a person, a subcontractor to create something, advertisements to Google, all those kind of tangible things, you also have to consider that getting your logo printed on a shirt, printing out business cards, all that kind of stuff, ancillary meals, closing gifts for clients, all of those things are part of the marketing budget. And if you're not tracking those things, you're going to find that you're spending way more and that you're not getting the ROI that you're looking for. So here we try to account for everything, right? So in this example, the first thing you got to do in order to market, you need to create content to market. So if you're investing in this example, let's just say you may be subbing out, spending some money on per year on getting some blogs created, and then maybe you have spending some more money a year getting some emails created, and I'm just throwing in some money here. And then you have some payroll of an intern person that you're working through, and that's going to cost you X amount. Okay, hey, look, you're already at $40,000 that are there. You're going to go ahead and get some stuff printed out, maybe $2,000 on business cards. Maybe you got a nice brochure. Oops, that is a mistake. I put it in the amount printed is there, but let me just go ahead and throw some money in here and say, okay, $2,000 here, or another $2,000 here. You guys get the idea. You guys can start working through this and getting through the different things that you're doing, direct mail options, postcards, all that kind of stuff. Maybe another 5K through there. And we'll give you some guidance of what to get it going. And maybe you want to do a lunch and learn. You're going to spend an additional $2,500 right there. As you start to see, this number at the top is starting to calculate all these individual costs. So in a sense, you'll be able to kind of see where your overall budget is at. And what you're going to start to see is, based off all these vehicles, are you getting anything out of the print stuff that you're using? Are you getting anything out of direct mail? Are you getting anything out of the online marketing, right, that you're spending? Pay-per-click, you're going to spend, 24K a year. Let's just say you're doing that. You're going aggressive there. These are all things that you spend per year, but as you start to manage it on a monthly basis, you're starting to see, am I getting the results that I should be getting? If not, where can I pull money from other areas, right? And dump it into the areas or the tactics in marketing that are actually working for you. So that's just kind of an idea to understand how your money is being broken apart and where you're getting the most results from. And instead of increasing your budget and just spending more, you're actually shifting budget around. Now, if things are working and you say, hey, this is going great, my content marketing's working, my internal person's generating me some leads, that's really cool, some direct mail stuff's working, hey, I want to do some more events. Now I have money to do events where I couldn't do events. These movie events seem pretty interesting. I want to go do that. Then you now can say, with the ROI you've driven, now you can try other things. And as you try and you learn and things that don't work and that do work, you'll start to shift around the money to things that do work. Or as if everything's working, then you'll just do all of the things eventually. I kind of joke with the clients. I said, eventually you'll get enough ROI where you'll be comfortable investing in getting a Super Bowl ad done. You know what I mean? So you can just have that to look forward to. But this, again, give you an idea of how much money you're spending in each of the different buckets and what ROI you're getting out of it so that you can track ROI for each activity, and then you'll feel confident spending more in a specific budget, in a specific area. Every company has unique strengths, so your strengths are going to be determined if you use something like this to figure out where you're being successful and where you're not, and where to double down your investments. Okay? So this document's available for you in the resources later. But now let's get back to the presentation real quick, and let's just go into the choosing the right strategy. I did the previous live stream was what type of marketing strategy generates the most appointments. So the link to that is in our YouTube channel, and you can look at what strategy works and why and how to make it work. Again, there's multiple different areas here. I kind of break that down in the other one and how to align yourself with the one that's suited more to your strengths. But to give you a recap of what happened in that live stream, a content marketing is pretty good for generating 4 to 10 appointments a month. It takes time and patience. It takes an active salesperson following up on leads. Pay-per-click advertising can get you 2 to 4 appointments a month. But again, that is a pay-to-play type thing. It may be less volume, but those of you that are owner-led salespeople, owner-led sales professionals, and you're the one doing the sales, but you don't have time to follow up with all the leads and do all the necessary touches, this may be for you because it's just going to bring the low-hanging fruit stuff down. But again, it needs proper management, needs a lot of that stuff to kind of make that work. And finally, events. If you're just really good, face to face in front of people, and you're really doing events, you can take your $60,000 budget, do 2 to 4 events a year. Yes, they're less frequent and not as often as the marketing goes, but you can make yourself quite a bit of ROI just focusing on that alone. So again, it really is going to be aligned on your strengths, and you can leverage the previous live stream that we did last month to learn more about the strategy that works for you. Okay? But understanding that, I think one of the things you're going to have to look at is the KPIs that you're going to need to monitor in order for you to ensure if your investment is going down the right path, if you're on the right track to get ROI. So number one, let's go back. I'm going back to the example to where you want to win 4 sales in 1 year. Okay, so let's look at the KPIs of how to win 4 sales. The first thing you need to do is generate 10 warm leads, okay, on a monthly basis. If you can get to the point where, and this is a very cost-effective approach, you guys can go ahead and we'll run through an example in a little bit, but you can get yourself some content, some email examples. There's great vendors that have some stuff out there. There's stuff you can create on your own. An admin person can create on their own at a very low cost, and you can start taking a look at your entire database and your prospects and start hitting them up and seeing if you're executing email campaigns to them and they're showing responses, those people that are engaging those materials, you just need 10 of those to show interest. Because based on the national averages, 20% of all those warm leads will turn into an appointment, okay, if you're following up. 50% of appointments turn into an opportunity or a proposal, and 50% of proposals typically close. That's what we see. So it's a net 5% close ratio, right? So if you get to 20 leads every 2 months, you'll get the opportunity to close 1 sale at 5% conversion ratio, right? So if you're looking at, again, how that works every 2 months, you can close anywhere from 4 to 6 sales in 1 year just doing something very simple like this, okay? So, but again, it's going to require, in order for you to get these conversions up, you're going to have to monitor that your sales professional, remember that codependency, that they're doing 7 to 12 touches per lead to follow up with those leads in order to make these numbers actually happen. Okay, so let's run through an example together of what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here, and we're going to go ahead and jump into this platform. So again, this is Honey CRM. You guys can go ahead and sign up online for free for this. It's a CRM built specifically for MSPs. But this is going to show you a little bit just how many leads you generate for our clients. So the topics I'm about to show you, that you guys can leverage some of these tactics to get similar results, okay? And how much ROI our clients have made off the marketing that we've generated for them. All right? Then you're going to go in here and you're going to start to see first, based on whatever your marketing quota was, okay? And I'm going to change our quotas in a minute to reflect what I showed you in this webcast. We have a little bit of a higher lead quota, but are you actually hitting the monthly lead quota to give you a shot, right? So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to go into, oops, should have done that. Let me go back. Sorry guys, pressed the wrong button. I'm doing this as an agency account. I can see past this mic. No, that's fine. This is just the clients here. Sorry for the delay, everybody. All right, now we're back into it. Okay, now I'll click on the right button. Okay, you're going to go into your quotas here, and you're just going to use the national averages. Okay, and you're going to see that it's going to change your lead quota to what you're normally seeing. You're going to see that it's going to change the monthly revenue quota. Basically here I'm looking at an average the average MSA being $2,500, and the same prospects, 20% of the leads converting into meetings, 50% of the meetings converting into opportunities, 50% of the opportunities turning into a one sale. Okay, I'm going to save those quotas. All right, and now we're going back. So now that we're here, I can look at it and say, hey, based off of this, so in this case, this month, you generated 74 leads. It's going to automatically do the math and forecast out for you, right? How many meetings you should get out of that, how many opportunities you should get out of that, how many wins, what the sales is, and how much potential revenue you have to win that month, okay? And as you start to look through all these results and you start to seeing that they're coming through and you're filtering on a monthly basis to see how well you're doing, I show you here that some months are better than others, you see what type of revenue opportunities you have for yourself. Cool. If everything is going right and marketing is doing everything that they're doing and they're hitting their monthly lead quota, no need to dig any deeper. Yes, there's a bunch of other analytics here that you can leverage, bunch of graphs and things that you can look at. You can see all your form submissions that have come through. You can see all that. And those are always good details to have available if there is a problem. But if you're an owner, you're just wanting to track the ROI, first understand, is the lead quota hit? Yes, it's hit. Okay, we're good. Now let's take a look at the other side, sales, right? So you're going to go into your sales quota and you're going to start to see, based here, are they doing the activities? Are they actually hitting the sales quota that we put out for them? Are they making enough calls, emails? These are all live data feeds that you can look at to see if they're having enough opportunities to go ahead and close these items. And you can look at it month for month. You can look at your conversion ratios as a whole as a company and where you're falling below threshold and how you're actually converting. And then you can take a look at each sales professional and understand how well they're doing based off the leads assigned to them and the number of activities that are going on. So the more you go into it, if they're doing their job and they're hitting their numbers, then hey, guess what? You're guaranteed you're getting ROI on marketing. But if the leads are coming in and sales are not coming through, then you have to start digging deeper there. You go into the lead queue and understand, take a look at some of these leads, right? You're going after targets that are within your seat size, job titles, all these verticals that you want to go into. So take a look at this person here, and understand if they've had enough touches, right? So you can see here that our sales professional, Sydney, has actually touched this lead already, 6 different times, and the time that they're following up. So at the time that they're expressing interest, are they opening that? Are they being responsive in the same time, same day, right? So here you go, some 1-minute response times to different emails that are being sent out. You can track the behavior of the person and what they're interested in and if they're following up. You get to see a lot of this information. You know what I mean? So again, if there's not 7 to 12 touches per lead that's following up and the numbers are a lot lower, then you know you're not doing enough outreach to convert those meetings into an opportunity or those leads into an opportunity. So again, just more visibility on the outset to understand if you have a problem obtaining ROI. Is it a marketing problem? Is it a sales problem? Is it both their problems? Or is it not a problem? You got to have visibility into it. The best way I can explain it to you is how do you ensure that the texts that you have are profitable and being utilized at the actual billable rate that you want? You're getting the proper realization out of them. You're tracking them. You got BrightGauge, you got all these different softwares to track their performance. Sales and marketing should be no different. So you got to be able to track the minimum KPIs. But again, if you're able to do all that, you're able to make it work. Okay? So again, if you want to go ahead and get started and say, I want to see if this is right, I want to start generating 10 leads, okay, you can do it for free. You can go in right now, create a free account in Honey, upload up to 500 contacts, and it won't cost you anything additional. There's unlimited users. You can go into your marketing. You can go into a campaign template. These are automatically branded to the color settings in your color scheme, all of these emails. So if you go ahead and you say, okay, hey, you know what, I want to do a network security campaign, and you want to see what it looks like, you can go ahead and leverage that, edit the content however you like, and send it out. You know, if you want to do a technology assessment, all these things, okay? You can get all this done right now, track the behavior of those people that are engaging these campaigns. If they're doing it, then the sales team will be notified. You can have them start following up and you can track it. And you can be on your way to getting some ROI very, very quickly. And again, when it's free, you don't need much to get ROI, but there's still time investment, right? But just to give you an idea, you don't have to go through this epic, journey in order to make that happen. You just have to be able to track the individual KPIs of your actual salespeople and your marketing folks or the marketing company that you're hiring. Okay. All right, getting back into it. So look through, monitor those things, and hold everyone accountable. It's literally that simple. It doesn't matter how much you're investing, what you're investing, and what you're doing. If you're not holding anybody accountable to anything, you're not going to get any ROI. You're not going to get any ROI. I'm just telling you, you're not going to get any ROI. If your marketing person internally or the company that you're working with is not being held accountable to the KPIs to give you a chance to get you ROI, then you're not going to get ROI. If they're hitting their KPIs and sales professionals are not taking those opportunities and converting them at 20%, right, into appointments, not closes, appointments. We're talking about a net 5% close ratio, people. Imagine this. Imagine if you hire a salesperson and you didn't do any marketing whatsoever. You just bought them a list. Your marketing budget was the cost of one list. You would hope that they would close a percentage of that list, right? 1% close? A list of 1,000 names, you'll close 1%, right? Okay. If they close 1% of those opportunities, then you'll get something out of it. With marketing, the number should increase. So all we're saying is with all these leads that are being generated, that they have to close 5%. A full-time salesperson shop 5%. If they can't close that, then you have a sales problem and you got to hold them accountable. Got to get them training, find someone that can. You need both parties to make sure they're putting the effort into getting the number done, or it's not going to happen. Excuses like, I don't want to use a CRM is not going to work. What do you say to your engineer that says, I don't want to use ConnectWise? I don't like it. Who likes ConnectWise, right? It's a good software, but the engineers don't like entering the data. They just know they have to do it, right? Because if they don't, how do you prove that they actually add any value or that they work? Or how do you track the utilization? Same thing with salespeople. If marketing people don't want to go ahead and disclose their leads or how many leads they're generating for you, how do you know that they're actually doing the work other than just creating pretty stuff? What are you going to do, hang it on the wall? If you're not using it, right, and you're not getting any action from it, then, you're not going to get any ROI from that either. So it's clearly that simple, folks. It's just put the KPIs in place, choose a strategy, put the numbers up there, manage those numbers, and if the numbers aren't being hit, hold those folks accountable. And if they're having problems, try to help them. If you try to help them and they can't be helped, or you need someone that can do the job now, then find someone that can do it. They exist all the time, but it's really, folks, it's just that simple. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the link now to download the resources right before we jump into our Q&A. So we have here this link, the downloadable resources. Just go to TRIdigitalmarketing.com/livestream-2. And you'll get it, the presentation slides that I just presented to you. You'll get the marketing budget calculator. Thanks to our partnership with the folks over at SBC International, they gave us a lot of whole sales and marketing management kit that you can leverage with sales professional scorecards, job descriptions, a whole bunch of stuff. You have the 12-step marketing guide that you'll get there on how to do all these different things and give you a lot of guidance, templates, all that kind of stuff. Some training videos from the folks over at SBC International and TRIdigital to give you some good training for salespeople, good training on marketing, and obviously some collateral on hunting CRM, but that is also free and you could also leverage it. Bunch of cool tools to help you guys be successful in getting ROI from your marketing, okay? So hope it helps. I'll leave that link up, but again, if you need anything, we're about to get into the comment section, Q&A section. You can go ahead and ask there. All right. So now we're going to go into our Q&A. If you guys are logged into your YouTube, you'll see to the right of the player, you'll have the ability to go in there and ask questions. So I want you to go ahead and take your time to do that. Please, by all means, let us know what you think in the comments below. Give us our feedback, ask questions now. And we're going to be happy to answer those for you live. So I'm going to go into dual screen mode here, and then we'll go into answering those questions. By the way, guys, since I got started late, I got frazzled, but I have Scott here, who heads up our multimedia, so he's going to be helping me field the questions so that I can answer them for you. Scott?
Chris Smith asks, who does proposals?
Who does proposals? That's a good question. So if you're looking at proposal designing that, I think that's a marketing activity. It's a document you're leaving with the client, pretty much the final document before they sign. So it's got to leave a good impression visually. It's got to be a pretty proposal. So I think marketing should design it. But as far as who creates the proposal in this example, it'll either be the sales engineer. In the large organization, it's typically the sales engineer. It's the virtual CIO that understands and knows how to propose the solutions and understands how to architect the solution. So they'll create the content within it, give it to the sales professional presents it. A marketing professional should take a look at the core template document, design it for sure to make sure that it leaves the right marketing impression. In the case where you're owner-led sales, you'd be doing the proposal and most likely doing the selling. Very good.
Do you get more ROI from hiring internally rather than outsourcing?
The next question is, do you get more ROI from hiring internally or outsourcing? I don't think one or the other matters. I don't think it's one more than the other. I think it's just a matter of the person you hired, are they effective or not? If you have a good hire internally that understands marketing, understands the KPIs, understands how to rally resources or do what needs to be done to hit the number, then I think you can get plenty of ROI from an internal person. If you're working with an outsourced firm that understands the same thing and may have more resources available to do more things, you get plenty of ROI from there. It really just depends. Some of you in New York and higher paid states, you're going to pay a high salary, you're going to pay a high burden cost. So your cost may be higher than going to an outsourced route. Or even if you got a lower cost internal person, it's very rare that that one person has all the different skill sets to do all of your marketing. And if they do have the kind of the jack of all trades, they're expert of none. So the quality of those items may be less. I think that if you hire a person internally, it's someone that should fundamentally understand how marketing works, then rally the resources needed to get it done. You may pay a little bit more because you're paying now subcontractors to facilitate certain things or an outsourced firm in tandem, but at least you have somebody dedicated to the results and the KPIs and responsible for it, so they're driving it more. So you get a little bit more attention on what needs to happen to get you the ROI. It's the best way I can answer that question.
What should I do if I do not have a dedicated salesperson?
Ooh, okay. Very good. What should you do if you don't have a dedicated salesperson? If you don't have a dedicated salesperson, then you're going to be owner-led sales. So if you're an owner-led sales profession, if you're an owner-led company where you do your own sales, you're going to, I don't know if you'll have enough time to do the necessary follow-up. Time can be an enemy of a lot of things. So I'd probably recommend that you do some pay-per-click advertising and focus a lot on just all inbound marketing. Those folks that are ready, just some pain right now filling out form submissions. It'll cost you a little bit more, but it'll take you directly to the appointment, and you'll be able to run those and close those. So that's what I'd recommend.
How do you get ROI from social media?
How do you get ROI? Oh man, that's a tough one for our industry, guys. It's not. How do you get ROI from social media? People are. We're not selling cupcakes, everybody. We're not selling cupcakes. So, you know, no matter how many likes you have or anything else, you're not going to really drive a lot of ROI. Even LinkedIn, you can use it as just devalue your organization by just constantly connecting with people with the sole purpose to pitch them. I don't think it's going to take you very far. And the amount of time, energy, and effort you're going to put into that to get ROI is going to be too high. You know, if you look at it, we're a professional services company. You know, you're not going to hire your attorney or your doctor or any of those people based on what you know they do on social media. If you put out a lot of content, you build a good following in social media, I think you could take advantage of that. Of course you do. And I think you can get ROI. It's just going to be a higher cost of lead acquisition, you know, so it'll be a little bit tougher for you to get that to happen.
I'm gonna see if you can decipher this one. It's the most recent question.
Okay.
There's a typo in there.
Oh, yeah, hold on. R. Kathy D, if you can restate that question. I think there's a little bit of a typo in there. I can't decipher can't decipher that question. Are something worth it or helpful? Yeah, I don't know. You know, can't answer that. I can't decipher that one. But if you guys can go ahead and leave another question. Okay, any other questions you guys would like us to answer about anything, sales or anything related? I think it's a real word. Boy.
I can Google it, see if we can figure this out.
Okay, we'll Google that word and see if we can get it going, Kathy. But that's good. Okay, so I'll take a look. But the other question you had was collateral. Is collateral worth it? Absolutely, collateral is worth it. You guys got to understand this. Remember what I said earlier? That the job of the marketing person is to communicate the vision and the philosophy of the business owner. You want to know why business owners are the best salespeople? They're the best salespeople because they have the best understanding of the vision. They're most emotionally connected to that vision. So they say it and sell it the best. It's coming from the original source. If you can get to the point where you can document that vision and those philosophies via video, marketing, collateral, what you do is you even the playing field, because marketing never gets tired of presenting your vision in the best possible light. It'll always do it right. So it doesn't matter if you have 4 or 5 salespeople, they'll be able to create a unified front that presents the company in its best possible light always. And they follow up on that to start doing the sales activities. You know what I mean? So they start to answer the questions, overcome objections, and it puts them in a better light right out the gate. If you don't have collateral, what you have is 4 or 5 individuals regurgitating the owner's vision. So you have 4 or 5 different stories of the company vision and philosophies going out there. And that version of that story the quality is going to depend on their knowledge of your vision, their passion and emotional alignment with that vision, and how good they feel that day. So collateral is definitely important to get that going so that it always does in the best possible light, and that you have materials. The more you have, the more resources you have at the engagement to leave to the customer to give them more reasons to convert. You know what I mean? And help them convert a lot faster. If they want case studies, you should already have the case studies printed. Boom, there you go. They want referrals, they want examples, relatable examples, they want an ROI calculator. You can create all those things right out the gate, give it to the customer, and be ready. And you'll find you'll close sales a lot faster with collateral.
Okay, so tchotchkes is like little branded
Oh my
trinkets.
gosh, how could I could have not read that? Tchotchkes, Jesus. Okay. Sorry, I'm not good at reading that. But tchotchkes, we call them swag. But they're the same thing. Are tchotchkes worth it? No. They're fun to have, and give out to people, but no, tchotchkes are not worth it. They're a branding exercise. It's my opinion. I mean, it's cool to have a memorable experience, and people like tchotchkes, and a lot of people, if you go to especially e-commerce event, they'll take anything you can get for free. Okay. I've always been a believer in quality over quantity. So if I have a shot to do something at an event that leaves a bigger impact with fewer people, I'll always do that. So to give you guys a perfect example, for our clients and for ourselves, we do these really nice company brochures. I don't know if those of you that have met us at IT Niche, and we have them. And they're expensive to print, they're expensive to make, and you don't have an infinite number of them. But we make the investment to put those in everybody's bag, and while less of that stuff goes out and they're easier to make, you guys could even look online. People just don't forget it. It's memorable, and it generates a lot more leads than you're ready to do. So I try to just, instead of doing a cheap tchotchke, try to just create something that's a memorable experience. If you're creative enough, I'm sure you can make it work, but that's just my philosophy anyway.
Peter Huang, not really a question, more of a discussion topic.
Sure.
Sending clients a care package once a year, reinforcing the brand, the relationship. When you give them away to strangers, he thinks people just toss them. So more giving people who you already have an established repertoire with, rather than giving to someone who you haven't had much contact with.
Okay, that's a very good question. Peter Huang, this is a topic for discussion. Giving a client care package only works when they're existing clients. Giving them away to prospects, people toss them. Depends on the value, right? Depends on the value. Think about it this way, guys. And here's some just other philosophy stuff. And please, I would like topics like this so we can discuss them on future live streams. But think about it from a standpoint of how you want to present yourself and how you want to differentiate yourself. Okay? What you do, the fact that you offer Office 365 Managed IT support doesn't make you different. That is the one thing that makes you like everybody else. Okay? Everybody else can offer the same thing, partner with the same vendors, offer it, and if they don't know anything about business, offer it at a lower price. Okay? So what I try to do when I try to market is not only just not market services, but try to market my philosophies, the internal processes, giving away a lot of secrets and a lot of values, things like this, a lot of our resources, because I've always tried to put out 10 times more value out than I expect to get back in return. That's how I really try to approach everything we do with that. Just try to put out more value, okay? And when you do that, you start to define the customer experience. It depends what your care package looks like. So I'm going to give you some examples of this, okay, Peter? So what happens is you can start off with having an ABC prospect experience. Those A prospects are prospects that'll most likely bring you the higher dollar amounts back, the higher user count environments that may be worth 10 grand a month or whatever it is, right? So you may have a completely different client experience of stuff that you would send that person. And I'll give you an example of that in a minute. Then you have the B and you have the C, okay? So one of our clients focused on only architectural firms, okay? And over the time that we were marketing, he developed 5 really good leads that he could not get on the phone. They were just so big and he wanted to do something to get their attention. So instead of just a normal care package that you would give to anybody, he has said to build, how to build this box for him And he knew that architects in these verticals are often using Wacom tablets or bamboo tablets or Cintiqs that are attached to their computers. So when the Microsoft Surface Studio came out, he ended up buying 5 of those and sending that out with a bunch of his marketing material and everything else to those organizations. And that perceived value is called the Gift of Technology campaign, was a high value to all those customers that received it. That was like, man, this is really cool. He got appointments with every single one of them and closed 3 of them. One of them was more than $20,000 per month. So while it did cost him a lot to put it out, instead of what he would do, instead of sending 100 care packages or 200 care packages, he sent 5 of these giant gift to technology packages and got so much back in return and a lot more ROI. So you create a different experience. But when you start to engage clients, I think everybody, no matter what, should have some level of an experience that they get when they start to work with you, because they don't know how good you are delivering services yet. They just know all they know is the perception of the marketing they've gotten so far. So if you want to start connecting with people, maybe what you should offer as first part of your care package is give them a copy of your 2 favorite books, along with maybe some cookies or some brownies or a little care package. Something that you can put a little $40, $50 value to each one of the leads. Still different. It's still the gift of knowledge. You can call it that. You can put it all together, and you're going to find that those people that have a cultural alignment with you are going to love reading those books, and they're going to love the fact that you gave them some material to make it work. How about this? How about giving them a checklist, right, on maybe those of you guys that are dealing with security and folks that are dealing with compliance, give them a checklist of how to pass their next compliance audit. That can be a good care package. Just give them your process. Tell them exactly what to look for. Even make it so that, hey, use this to help your service provider help you with your next HIPAA compliance audit. That's a pain point to someone, they're going to find a lot of value in it. That is some direct mail pieces you can send that'll be valuable. You can even send that through an email, be extremely valuable. Focus on giving out more value than you expect to get back. Focus on being helpful in any way that you can, and you're going to find that the return you put into those things is going to get you the type of business you're looking for.
That's it.
All right. No more questions. I think that's it. You can, I don't know if you want to continue I don't know if more questions are coming through. You think? There's still a lot of people viewing.
Let's see.
No?
Let's just do one last call because it's been out.
Okay. All right. So we'll just do one last call for questions. Okay. And then please let me know, like or dislike this live stream as you're watching it. Please let us know what you think. If you have comments or ideas for the next Q&A, want to throw more questions in the ring that we can answer in next month's live stream, please let me know. Via the comments. We really look at that feedback. We really want to continue doing all these items and getting you going. Also, if you guys have resources or templates or stuff that you need, let us know what templates you're looking for. If I'm always happy to create those resources and send them out to you guys. You know, we try to jam pack these things with a lot of downloadables. Any other questions? No? That was the last thing? All right. Well, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining the live stream. We really appreciate it. I hope to see you guys next time on the next question we're going to answer, all right? Take it easy, everybody. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.